invocation this morning. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day, and we're always grateful for an opportunity to serve you and our community. Lord, we're grateful for the wisdom you give us. We're thankful that we can call on you and you hear us. Lord, we do pray for our residents in this county and across our country that are sick or hurting and need your touch. We just ask you to minister to them today. We pray for your hand to continue to be upon our nation, to continue to bless us, Lord. Help us to become again a Christian nation. Father, let us do things that honor you today. Let us be found pleasing in your sight. We do pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Join me in the pledge to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Do we have any announcements today from anybody? Not, I don't have any public comments. Any public comments from anybody? If not, we do have a quorum present today. Present voting, Precinct 1 is Commissioner Hatfield, Precinct 2, Commissioner Timmons, Sims presiding, Precinct 3 is Commissioner Malden, and Precinct 4 is Commissioner Ebarb. This is Tuesday, September the 10th. We're here at 9 a.m. in the historic courthouse here in Marshall, Texas. Call our county court to order. It is 9:02 a.m. First on our agenda this morning is from our auditor. It's administrative report.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
You should have a copy of the July 2024 report. Please keep in mind these are unaudited and unadjusted financial statements. As of July 2024, we have a fund balance of $35,069,005. On page 2, you will refer to the general fund. As of July 2024, we have collected $27,529,302 in comparison to $23,971,109 in FY23. That is an increase of $3,558,193 or 14.84%. The majority of that is collected in our taxes. From an expenditure perspective, we have spent $21,155,293 in comparison to FY23 of $18,042,059. That's an increase of $3,113,234 or 17.26%. You'll note that the majority of that is in our public safety, and that's where our Motorola payment, yes, and along with our SB 22 payments.
Has that got the motor graders that we bought?
No, sir, that would be in Road and Bridge.
Okay.
On page 3 is the net perspective. As of 2024, we have collected $6,374,009 in comparison to FY23, where we had collected $5,929,050 and more in revenue than what we have spent. Now, on page 4 is our Road and Bridge Fund. As of July 2024, we have collected $9,589,098 in comparison to $5,724,158. That's an increase of $3,864,940. And you'll note that the majority of that is in other financing, and that's the sale of the motor graders that we returned. From the expense perspective, we have spent $7,524,053 in comparison to $3,921,662. That's an increase of $3,602,391. And you'll note that's in public transportation. That is the balloon payment for the motor graders that we traded in, along with the purchase of the motor graders for $2 million.
Let me ask you a question. Where's the 4.7 million that we spent on contract road work last year in 23? Where does it fall in?
That's not in the road and bridge. That is in our ARPA funds, which is not captured in here. This is strictly our road and bridge fund. On page 5 is the net perspective for the road and bridge fund. As of July 2024, we have collected $2,065,045 more in revenue that we have spent versus $1,802,497 in FY23. On page 6 through 10 is the monthly revenue report, which is detailed by department in comparison to budget. On pages 11 through 15 is the monthly expenditure report detailed by department in comparison to budget. And on page 16 is the view of our debt, and of course we have zero debt. And that's all I have for July's statement.
Any other questions for Ms. Haynes on the administrative report for July? If not, we'll move on to item number 1. This is consideration and approval regarding line item transfers.
Okay, I am requesting transferring $228,347.22 between line items within multiple funds. There are a lot of transfers, trying to true up how they're spending the money, doing the year-end purchasing, that type of thing. The next Commissioners Court, you're going to see a larger line item transfer because we're going to have to true up how primarily salaries are being spent. So we're trying to get prepared so we're not having so many line item transfers after the end of the fiscal year.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments on these line item transfers? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of payment of regular bills.
I am requesting payment of $813,099.26. Included in that is, pardon me, Enterprise. Enterprise, for the last couple of months, we have had a credit balance on our Enterprise bill due to returning of vehicles. So included in this for the general fund, we have $92,000 in credits for the general fund, and we have $10,000 in credits for the road and bridge. So that's not correct. We have, for road and bridge, we have 116, let me start over. I'm looking at too many numbers. For the general fund, we have 116,800 in credits for the revenue that we have received for selling the vehicles. In road and bridge, we have $143,352. So that's a total of $260,152 that we received from the sale of our vehicles. And there's about 13 vehicles included in here, if I'm not mistaken. But we paid for, between transport fees and reduced book value, almost $82,000. So that's a net gain that we made of $177,113.89. And that's for about 13 vehicles. And keep in mind, I don't know if y'all noticed, if you looked at the post date, we have invoices going back for Enterprise to July 2nd. So this is the first month that we've actually been able to issue a check to Enterprise since July because of the credits that we've had outstanding with them.
So this number comes off the total payment for the year to Enterprise, so we actually get a cost of what our actual cost,
Yes, sir.
lease program cost.
Now, it's still booking in revenue, so you're not gonna see a net, when you look at the lease payments for, Road and Bridge and the Sheriff's Department, you're still gonna see a higher number from a lease perspective, but you need to look at the revenue for the sale of fixed assets, because that's where the sale of on the gain of the vehicle is being booked.
Can you put that in a spreadsheet and send it to us?
Oh, yes,
So
sir.
we can look at what our actual yearly cost, because I hadn't been able to visualize what it's actually costing us countywide to lease the Enterprise vehicles.
And it's convoluted because of the way we're having to account for it, because we have to recognize the sale of the vehicle and revenue, and then we have the reduced book value that we have to pay off on the vehicles that we've traded in. So it is a little bit convoluted, and you're not going to be able to look at just auto lease payments and say, we spent $800,000. And that's what you're trying to get to. Okay.
And I don't necessarily need it in a spreadsheet to show all that, just we spent and we sold, and our net cost basically is all that I'm looking for. I mean, because I don't really need to know how many we sold and what we sold them for.
You just want
I
totals.
just wanna know what our actual cost for the year to lease these vehicles were. And until you do all the subtractions of the refunds and the credits. And
Right,
sale
because
back,
we have had multiple.
Yeah,
we-
I'd just like to see what, because, I don't think it's near what, when you look across.
When you,
for the
because if
Enterprise,
you look
what
at
we
the,
paid them, yeah,
right, if you look at the budget, we're spending over $1 million
Yeah,
in
exactly.
enterprise.
Exactly.
But that's just strictly the lease payments, that's not any gain on the vehicles that we have returned.
And we're getting far enough along into it that we should see, you know, multiple rollbacks and resale, so that comes off that.
Because we're getting closer to the end of our first cycle of replacements.
Okay.
So, because, I mean, we're starting our 5th year now, so we're going into our 6th year now. Yeah, we're going into our 6th year now, so we've just replaced the initial purchase of the vehicles that we are going to replace. There were a couple that we kept. I think we kept one at Juvenile, but I think that's the only one we've actually kept. All the others have been replaced.
Well, this will start to give us a better picture of what.
Okay,
All right.
I can get that to you.
Any other questions or comments on payment of regular bills? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes 5-0. Number 3 is consideration and approval of payroll for August 30th, 2024.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments on our payroll? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 4 is consideration and action to approve incremental funds received from Texas Eastern 911 donation approved in Commissioners Court on July 19th, 2024.
Texas Eastern 911 had provided us a donation, and when we approved it in court, we approved it based off of the estimate of the equipment, which was $29,937.60. Their actual check was for $30,000. So we need to approve the incremental. The incremental will be, I mean, we're being charged shipping for some of the equipment, so that it will still go towards the intent of the donation, but we just need to approve the additional funds.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebarb. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 5 is consideration and action to accept certify new revenue and approve a budget amendment pursuant to local government code 111.0108 for a donation received by Harrison County for the sheriff's office.
We normally budget around 15,000 for donations, but when we have large donations like we did from Texas Eastern 911, we have to increase our budget to account for that, and that's all this is doing.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Malden. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 6 is consideration and action to approve a budget amendment pursuant to local government section 111.0106, which is a special budget for grant or aid money. The county auditor or the county judge in the county that does not have a county auditor shall certify to the Commissioners Court the receipt of all public or private grant or aid money that's available for disbursement in a fiscal year but not included in the budget for that fiscal year. On certification, the court shall adopt a special budget for the limited purpose of spending the grant or aid money for its intended purpose.
This budget amendment is for our tobacco compliance grant. We do not budget for our grants until we actually receive them. So the grant or this budget amendment has a net impact of 0 because we're recognizing the revenue in the same amount of expense.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebarb. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 7 is a special budget for revenue received after the start of a fiscal year. The county auditor or the county judge in the county does not have a county auditor shall certify to the Commissioners Court the receipt of revenue from a new source not anticipated before the adoption of the budget and not included in the budget for the fiscal year. On certification, the court may adopt a special budget for the limited purpose of spending the revenue for general purposes or any of its intended purposes.
Okay, this budget amendment is for the insurance proceeds. As you know, we had 65 vehicles impacted by the hail storm that was on February 11th. We have already done one budget amendment for the initial payment. This is for additional payments that were not included in the original budget amendment, along with any supplemental payments that we have received from TAC. We are still having supplemental payments outstanding from TAC. We have, I estimate, around still $78,000 that we have not received in supplemental payments. So I'm working with the purchasing agent to make sure that we get the claims submitted and that we get some of these funds. We're paying the invoices, but we're just not getting the supplemental proceeds for the insurance. Now, included in this budget amendment is also what we have received for our facilities. There's $979,818 related to the facilities for the roofs that are being replaced. We'll have additional, because I believe that's about a $2 million insurance claim. So we'll have additional budget amendments as we receive those funds and as the work is completed.
Very good. Any questions for this special budget for revenue
Keep
received?
asking, but I know looking back, there were some questions and some issues, the way we finance and pay our monthly payments on our lease cars for the different departments. And then when there's an accident or insurance claim, then there's a copay or a payment up front. That money comes out of that department, and then we get reimbursed back at the county from insurance.
We get reimbursed for everything except the deductible, which is $1,000 for each vehicular accident.
But my question, when the insurance comes in, does that insurance payment go back to the department that money came out of?
No, sir. It
So
goes to
how do
revenue.
how do they budget the different departments
And
for
that's-
potential insurance claims?
That's why we do a budget amendment, because they're getting expenses that were not budgeted, and we're getting revenue that was not budgeted. So,
So it's a wash at the
in
end
theory,
when you
it should
do
be a wash, except for the deductible.
Okay.
And the next budget amendment addresses the deductible.
All right, that was item number 7, and this is the special budget for the insurance proceeds. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner DeBarb. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that item passes 5-0. Number 8 is consideration and action to accept, certify new revenue, and approve a budget amendment pursuant to the local government code 111.011 for the payment by Harrison County for Road and Bridge Department for equipment purchases of $57,968 and truck repair and parts for $41,265.21.
This budget amendment is strictly for Road and Bridge. What it is they are having additional truck parts and repairs related to the deductibles that were not budgeted. And of course, that's an expense that's not budgeted, and we do not get reimbursed for it. So that is $57,968 that's $41,265.21. The next item on here is the $57,968. That is related to an equipment that thought we would have to pay it in FY '25, but we're paying it in FY '24. So, this is a item that we were not anticipating to have to pay for in '24.
Any questions on item number 8? For Ms. Haynes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Ms. Haynes. Next up is our Road and Bridge Department Administrative Report from Mr. Davis. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor, Commissioners. How y'all doing today? So the weather's been holding us up on our construction, but we are starting to move along again. On the east side, we are on Fur Road, which is 1.4 miles. We started laying it out yesterday. We should be completing it today. And we'll move to State Line right around the corner from Fur Road. We've had a couple of reports from the school with their school buses having trouble getting in there and turning around. They've had several new residents move in down there, so we're gonna go in and put a all-weather top on it for them. So it's a little under 0.4 of a mile. And if the weather holds up, then we'll move on to more projects. On the west side, we're on Jones Road and Everett Road right now. And also, we're still, Reynolds and K's doing the net RMA program over there. They finished their priming, so they should start chip sealing that top over there next week. They're waiting for this little weather system to move out, and it's come along pretty good. It's been a real big project, lots and lots of traffic. Other than that, we're routine maintenance, still picking up tree debris from the storms. And we also should start our county chip seal next week too. So as of right now, we've completed a little over 11 miles and we've got 6.459 miles in progress.
Ask you a question on the chip seal. I understand that they've had trouble getting the coated rock, and y'all gone away from the hot oil and the coated rock.
Right, due to the weather,
Okay,
yes.
My question is there a difference in cost? I mean,
No, there's no difference in
well,
the cost.
You know, how can it not be? They're not bringing out 300 and something degree oil, and we're not buying coated rock. We're just going with a different cold spray oil in a uncoated rock. So I mean, to me, it seems like there ought to be some difference in
Actually, we're just changing the oil due to the cold weather. You can't shoot out that 300+ degree oil on a cool surface. It tends to puddle up and stuff. It's not gonna heave to that top.
Well, in the past, you liked the hot oil because it actually melted and bound into a half inch or so
Right.
of the top. But spraying the cold oil and not the hot oil, what's the longevity for us?
It's gonna be about the same. It's just a cold weather oil is what it's called.
Well, for me personally, if the process is not as good for us long-term, then I would say then we don't spray it with cold, personally. I mean, I think if we're gonna spend our money on these seal coat jobs, it needs to be what gives us the best chance of longer lasting, whether it be, and if it's the hot oil, then, why would we agree to change because they hadn't been able to get product prior to and
Well, the
now?
biggest change is due to the weather, the cooler weather.
But I know, but we did this back in what, April or May, so they've had May, June, July, and August to do whatever the 10 or 12 or 15 miles of seal coat. Now, for me personally, I'm not saying, I mean, that's your decision, but I'm just saying, if it's not as good a finished product for the longevity or the life of the road, then to me, we're kind of settling for a lesser quality, and yet, but it's the same money.
Well, it's still a good product.
Okay.
Have you used this before
Yes, sir.
and without any?
And TxDOT does the same thing.
Well,
You
yeah.
have to make an adjustment in the field whenever you get weather,
Sometimes we see it one way here, but once you're out in that field, it's different.
Yes, sir. That's completely right.
Well, I just don't wanna see us have the same results.
Oh,
we
we're
had
not
last
gonna
year
settle
when
for
We went
nothing.
away from oil dirt and tried a new process, and we know what we got from it. So that's my whole contention, is that, if, just cause TxDOT did it, if we tried it last year, there was a disconnect somewhere, and it didn't hold up for us. And I just, that, it's hard for me to sit here and say, well, we'll do the same process again. And
Yeah, but this is going on our county roads, so it's already a hard surface road. So it's not going on a soil cement base like we did.
so they're not, these are just an overlay for.
Yes, sir, these will be the roads that we completed in 2023. So we're going back chip sealing over the oil dirt top.
So it's not like we're laying it, like you say.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
Luke, where are we at on Fern Lake cutoff?
Like I say, next week, they should start their chip sealing process.
Okay, perfect.
This weather's just been holding everybody up.
Oh, yeah. But it's prepped and ready to go, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Davis on his administrative report? If not, we'll move on to item number 1, which is consideration and approval of personnel changes for Harrison County Road and Bridge Department.
We've had 3 terminations since our last Commissioners Court, and these, of course, were all the summer temporary.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of utility applications submitted to Harrison County Road and Bridge Department as follows. E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Huffman Road, which is County Road 4412. E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Ora Asa Johnson Road, which is County Road 4711. E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Newman Road, which is County Road 4315. And E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Ferguson Road, which is County Road 4312. E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Wells Road, which is County Road 4313. E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Benson Road, which is County Road 4316. E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Hope Road, which is County Road 4403, and E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Pine Valley Road, which is County Road 4411.
Yes, sir, these are all fiber optic lines. They've all been reviewed and they meet all of our specifications outlined in our utilities applications.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes 5-0. Number 3 is consideration and approval of the Harrison County Road Condition Report as of September 1, 2024 for the Harrison County Road and Bridge Department.
Yeah, this is a yearly requirement per local government code. There were a few changes, and that's just to update the roads we reconstructed in the last year or so, and then some, of course, have received significant damages due to oil fields, so it's just outlining those changes.
You guys have had a chance to review the road condition report. Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 4 is consideration and action to approve the final payment for the Brossy broom that was authorized in FY '24 on a rental purchase agreement for a 12-month contract.
Yes, sir, in 2024, we did, we could rent option for a year, and 80% of that rent would go towards the payoff after a 12-month rental agreement, which we were looking at it different. They had it down as a 48-week or 12 4-week cycles. So anyhow, this will be coming out of 2025 budget.
So we're approving it now to be paid later?
Yes, sir.
How can,
It's being paid out of the '24 budget. We asked for it to be allocated in the '25 budget,
I see.
but we're recognizing the expense now due to 48 weeks as opposed to 52.
This is one of the budget amendments that y'all approved.
All right, easy enough.
so we're just moving out of the 25 back into the 24?
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to
I
approve?
just had it backwards.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Next up is our sheriff. It's our administrative report from Sheriff Fletcher. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Yes, Terry, y'all.
Good.
Our activity summary for, it's gonna be from 8/7 to 9/3, not quite a month. We answered 2,401 calls for service. Took 125 criminal reports. We arrested 72 individuals. Had 429 traffic stops. Dealt with 3 mentals. Did 31 transports through warrants and mental transports for a total of 6,011 miles. We received 141 legal documents, 42 were personal services, 13 were indictment precepts that we served in the jail, 9 tax postings, 19 postings, and then 1 from the Central Harrison Central Appraisal District. Can't talk this morning, for a total served of 84. We sent out 810 juror summons. Our jail population average is 258. We're currently housing 29 contract inmates, 23 for the U.S. Marshal Service and 6 for Marion County. Our fire marshal service from 8/1 to 8/31 served 2 citations, did 5 fire inspections, did 8 illegal dumping cases, picked up 5,670 cubic foot of litter, and 6 structure fires. Took care of 5 complaints, 18 inspections, 12 utility hookups, and 8 for Upshur Rule and 8 for Panola Harrison. We served, looks like 25 single-family permit fees for a total of $9,000, 3 commercial for a total of $1,680, one commercial permit renewal fee for 2023 for $560, for a total of money collected of $11,240. That concludes the summary of the monthly report.
Commercial, 360.
It's supposed to be $560.
Okay.
What's that?
On your on-site sewage,
Did I get off?
well, no, you read it correctly, but you're right under the single-family permit fees, so shows those at $360. The commercial permit fees are really $560.
Oh, I got you. Got a typo on it.
Yep, that's
Okay.
all.
He added it right there, didn't he? Yeah.
When you do the math, 3 times that 560, you get 1680. Well, one of our commissioners can't let that go. But he's right.
Easy.
Any other questions?
I got so
on that?
much to say, but I'm gonna hold it in right now.
Yep, I do too. I appreciate him too. Any questions for Sheriff Fletcher on his administrative report? If not, we'll move on to item number 1, consideration and approval to accept a billing agreement between Harrison County and the East Texas Police Academy, Kilgore College, for the training cost of regular and reserve officers, civilian employees, elected officials, and county jailers. So Sheriff, this is an agreement you guys have with the East Texas Police Academy.
That's correct.
It's something that you've done in the past.
It'll be an ongoing forever thing.
Yep.
We've sent, well, we have 3 there now. We just got 5 out, and God only knows how many jailers go through there a year. So we do a lot of business with them.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, between Harrison County and Our Rescue for a data pilot X or 10 for 1 year, up to $5,000, with mutual goals to collaborate on strategies, investigations, and technical assistance to rescue children and others from human trafficking.
So this is a program that we use, obviously, that detects human trafficking. It detects when people enter the wrong things on Facebook or social media websites or Google searches. It puts basically a fence around our county, and everybody that enters something like that comes to TC's office for this system and gives us an alert that they're searching certain things. And it also ties into a federal database where multiple agencies also use it, and if they get tips, somehow got one from our county, we share tips back and forth. And there's a regional task force that goes around and visits with these folks, and it keeps a lot of things at bay. It's a very, very
So
necessary
you've
evil.
been using this?
Oh, yeah.
It's worked well?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Sheriff, have we had much human trafficking in our area?
Whether it's human trafficking or some type of sexual act, child or et cetera, but yes, we have over 200 sex offenders in our county, and we probably work 20 to 40 of those cases a year. So I would say they're frequent enough.
Yeah.
2 free.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Malden. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank y'all.
Next up from our IT department, item number 1 is consideration and approval to use funds from the JP Technology Equipment to purchase 3 Optiplex Tower. Those are plus 2020s from Dell Technologies. The Texas Direct TSO 3763 computers at a total of $4,001.37 paid from line item number 300.695.4572.10, which are technology funds. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number E is from our treasurer. This is consideration and approval to accept a donation of $100 from Alex Madrano for deposit on rental of Gold Hall. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Timmons. I'm assuming that,
I think he had paid his deposit, never did come back to get it when they.
so we're just gonna accept it as a donation. Did he tell us he would?
Yeah.
They asked us to accept it as a donation.
All right.
Individual did.
Very good. Thank you. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Next up from purchasing. Good morning, Ms. Haynes.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners. We're still doing a lot of house cleaning, and you should have a list. And this is,
Yep,
now, I'm working on another one for next Commissioners Court, so.
super. Item number 1 here is consideration or approval to declare listed fixed assets as salvage and or surplus and to appropriately dispose of said items. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Ms. Haynes, I noticed that there's some here on, and I think you and I talked about this, without tags on them. But obviously we have them in our inventory and
Some
you're
of these-
asking for those items to be sold as well.
Yes, sir, some of these are not even in our inventory. I don't know how old they are. I don't have any information on them. I can't find any information. So they were brought over to the office by, Mr. Robinette to dispose. He said that he had asked someone about selling them and they weren't worth but like $2 to $4 a piece. So I didn't know if that was feasible to even have a sale.
Sure. Well, whatever we gotta do to get rid of them and get it cleaned up, I appreciate you doing it.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Next up is our new business and we'll start on our budget items. Do y'all wanna take a short break or keep on going?
Keep on going.
Hearing no request for a break, we'll keep on going. Our first item here is a public hearing on the proposed 24-25 Harrison County budget. It is 9:42 a.m. We'll open up the public hearing. If there's somebody who'd like to come and speak for or against or question or comment on our 24 through 25 county budget. Anybody here today to speak on the budget? If there are no questions on or comments on our budget during this public hearing, we'll close the public hearing. It's 9:43. And we'll move on to item number 2. This is consideration and action regarding the adoption of the FY 2024 through 2025 budget to include the following. First part is a public hearing for the proposed 24 through 25 salaries, expenses, and other allowances of elected county officials. So for this public hearing, we'll start it here at 9:43. Anybody like to speak on the salaries, expenses, and other allowances of elected county officials? Any comments on the elected county officials' salaries and expenses and other allowances? If not, it is 9:44. We'll close that public hearing and move on to item B. That's setting of salaries, expenses, and other allowances of elected county officials for FY 24 through 25. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item C is another public hearing for the proposed county clerk's record archive fee plan for 24 through 25. It's 9:45. We'll open up this public hearing to hear anybody that has any comments on the clerk's record archive fee plan. Any comments? If there are none, we'll close this public hearing. It's still 9:45. And we'll move on to item D, that's approval of the county clerk's 24 through 25 record archive fee plan. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number E is a public hearing for the proposed district clerk's records technology plan for 24 through 25. It's 9:46. We'll begin this public hearing for the district clerk's record technology plan. Anybody like to speak for or against? Have a question or a comment? Anybody? If we have no one, we'll close this public hearing at 9:46 a.m. and we'll move on to item F, which is approval of the district clerk's 24 through 25 records technology plans. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item G is setting of the pay for the jurors for district and county court, grand jurors, door bailiff, and grand jury commissioners for FY 24 through 25. You guys should have a sheet that describes the pay for jurors. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item H is approval of orders by District Judge Brad Moran as follows. Number 1 is approval of the order setting salaries of the county auditor and assistant auditors. And we may just approve all these at once.
Yes.
So, item number 1 was approval of the order setting salaries for the county auditor and assistant auditors, approval of the order appointing a district court reporter and setting of salary, and approval of appointing district court bailiff and setting of salary. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item I is approval of the orders by the County Court at Law Judge Joe Black as follows. Item number 1 is approval of an order appointing County Court at Law bailiff and setting salary, and 2, approval of order appointing County Court at Law reporter and setting salaries. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes 5-0. Item number 3 is consideration and action regarding the adoption of the Harrison County budget for FY 24 through 25. This will be a record vote, so I'll ask you guys to vote individually, and we'll record your vote accordingly. First up, precinct number 1, Commissioner Hatfield, you've had a chance to review the budget. What's your vote?
I'm a yes vote.
That's affirmative, an aye for Commissioner Hatfield. Commissioner Timmons?
Yay.
Affirmative for Commissioner Timmons. Commissioner Malden?
Aye.
That's affirmative for Commissioner Malden. Commissioner Ebarb?
Affirmative.
He's also affirmative. And I'm Chad Sims. I'm going to vote affirmative and aye also. So that's unanimous vote supporting our budget for FY 24 through 25. You know, I suppose we should have had a motion for that, and a second. Commissioner Timmons made the motion,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hatfield, and, just for the record, that was a unanimous affirmative vote. All right, item number 4, this is a public hearing on the discussion of the tax increase for FY 2024 through 2025. It's 9:50 a.m. We'll begin our public hearing for discussion on the tax increase. If anybody'd like to come forward and speak for or against or have any questions about our tax increase, it will, this year, will raise about $2 million more than last year, which is just over a 7% increase from last year's budget. And also, just in this notice, you should know that tax revenue raised from new property, that's new properties that were added to the tax rolls, that'll bring in just over $39,000 this year. Any other questions or comments during this public hearing for the discussion on the tax increase? If there is no one, we'll close this part of our public hearing. It's 9:51 a.m. and move on to item number 5. This is consideration and action to take a record vote to adopt and set the ad valorem tax rate for Harrison County for FY 2024 through 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebarb. This tax rate will be, the new proposed tax rate is .3556 per $100 valuation to fund our fiscal year budget 24 through 25. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes 5-0. Item number 6 is consideration and action to ratify property tax collection increase of $2,320,854. I'm sorry.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Ebarb and a second by Commissioner Hatfield. And you guys are asking me if that's a record vote. I don't have it. Where?
You back on number 5?
Yep.
Read it again.
Yep, you're right. It says take a record vote. So we'll back up on number 5.
Good catch.
Yeah, thank you.
I withdraw.
We'll come back to you in a minute. Item number 5 was consideration and action to take a record vote to adopt and set the ad valorem tax rate for Harrison County FY 24 through 25, and I mentioned that was .3556. We had a motion by Commissioner Hatfield, a second by Commissioner Ebarb, and we do need a record vote. Commissioner Hatfield, how do you vote?
Yes.
He's affirmative. Commissioner Timmons?
Yes.
Affirmative. Commissioner Malden?
Aye.
He's affirmative. Commissioner Ebarb?
Yes.
He is affirmative, and I'm, Judge Sims is affirmative also. So that passes unanimously, each commissioner and judge voting in favor. That was item number 5. Back to item number 6, consideration and action to ratify the property tax collection increase of $2,320,854 for FY 24 through 25. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 7 is consideration and approval of action to establish the 24 through 25 annual employment positions and compensation for county employees. This is our slot list. You guys have had a chance to review. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 8 is consideration and approval of setting fees to be collected by the county clerk and district clerk for FY 24 through 25 that are not mandated by statute. You guys have a copy of the clerk's fee schedule. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. That winds up our budget process. I do want to thank several here, especially Becky Haynes, our auditor, for her help. Couldn't do it without her, and I really appreciate you. Also, Commissioner Ebar's been a big help. He's our numbers cruncher and does a good job looking and noticing and has good questions. I appreciate that. Ms. Johnston, thank you for your work on the slot list. I know that's a monster. That's a lot of work. We appreciate you doing that. Ms. Veronica King's not in here, but she does the detailed work on helping calculate our tax rate and the no new revenue and the voter approval rate, all that. It's a big group effort. There are several more that have helped, and I just want you guys to know I appreciate you very much.
Well, Judge, we appreciate your guidance on that. You really,
thank you.
been a great leader on that, and we appreciate it. Thank you for what you do for Harrison County, the employees, the citizens, and all the way around. We appreciate you helping East Texas grow.
Thank you. On to new business. This is item number 1, consideration and approval of the setting of the sheriff's and constable fees for 2025. You guys should have a list of those fees. Item D1, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Malden. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of the resolution setting the FY 24 through 25 regular term of court for the Harrison County Commissioners Court and approval of the dates of regular meetings for Commissioners Court, October 1, 2024 through September 30th, 2025.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Ebar, a second by Commissioner Timmons. So on our, let's see here, it's B2. Just so I want you guys to note, and I know you had a chance to look at this, and I want to talk you through it right quick. Like we always do, we meet every other Tuesday, but next year, during August and September, we're scheduled to meet every Tuesday. Reason being, new state code for our budget requires us to hold some meetings at regularly scheduled Commissioners Court meetings. So we're gonna have a regularly scheduled one every week. If we don't have anything to do, I'll put out a note and we won't meet at all. There's no reason for us to meet if there's nothing to do. But if we do have to, if there's a hearing, something we need to do, we'll have it on our regular schedule. So that's why you see additional meetings in August and September. We have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 3 is consideration and approval of the Harrison County holiday schedule for October 1, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Our holidays stayed the same as they have been recently. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 4 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the grant agreement, Rural Law Enforcement Salary Assistance Program Award number IA-, 00702, which is the SB 22 program set by the state between the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts and Harrison County in the amount of $275,000 for the purpose of funding the Criminal District Attorney Grant FY 25. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments? You guys will remember 2 weeks ago, we did the law enforcement SB 22 grant. This is the one for our DA's office. Thank you, Mr. Mays, for helping us get all that stuff together.
Mr. McCain thought we were playing Family Feud, and he kind of slapped the button before y'all did. I mean,
It happens. It does happen. All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Number 5 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the ratification of the non-renewal of the agreement with Steam Link Software, Inc. regarding Amplifund. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Any comments on this one? If hearing none, we'll, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 6 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the TxDOT Airport Project M2519 MARS agreement regarding the routine airport maintenance program. We call that the RAMP grant. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. Yes, sir.
while I was up here, I did want to make one unrelated comment. I think this particular commissioners meeting is probably one of the most important ones that we'll have all year long because of a couple of things. One, we're approving our budget for the upcoming year, and also because of the upcoming issue that we're fixing to talk about on the tax assistance district. And I'm very disappointed to see not one person from the general public in this courtroom. And it's not because it hadn't been advertised. It has been well discussed. People have been invited, and I'm disheartened to see that nobody is here to take interest in this. So consequently, we shouldn't have any gripes this coming year.
We hope that nobody's here because they have so much confidence in us.
That would be my hope. So no, they don't have a right to complain.
You got that, Robbie?
We try to do the right thing. But you're right, they will complain. All right, on item number 6, we had a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. This is for our routine airport maintenance program, the RAMP grant. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 7 is consideration and action regarding the request by Gum Springs Water Supply Corp. for the sponsorship of Gum Springs Water Supply Corp. for the Texas CDBG grant for the 25 through 26 funding cycle. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Mr. Todd, you have any comments? I know you're here for Gum Springs. If you'd like to say something, we're happy to hear from you. You don't have to.
I just want to say, I appreciate the court looking at it again and approving us this time. And the state's got some few things worked out, so I'm hoping the streamline of it will help us for this next funding. And we just appreciate y'all for backing us again, being behind us. And let's try and back it up, trying it again.
Yes, sir.
So,
We'll
thank
do it.
you.
We'll do it much earlier this time to make sure we don't have any issues.
Well, I appreciate y'all, and this is my board president, he appreciates y'all too from the board. So,
You bet.
thank y'all.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you taking care of those folks over on the west side. Item number 8 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the resolution of the Commissioners Court of Harrison County, Texas, selecting a grant administration firm to assist the county with the submittal of an application for funding and administration of a contract, if awarded, from the Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA, for the 25-26 Texas Community Block Grant Program, the Community Development Fund, CDBG-CD, on behalf of the Gum Springs Water Supply Corp. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Marlin, second by Commissioner Ebar. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Item number 9 is consideration and approval of the agreement for an Easy Ice Machine lease agreement to be placed at the Extension Office, with their invoices to be split between the Extension Office using line item 100-665.4572.65 and the Sheriff's Department using line item 100.561.4572.45. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. It's 10:05 a.m. We're adjourned.
Warp speed.